But maybe we could back up for a little bit, because one of the questions I think maybe people have is, Koinonia had this phrase, building relationships with God, one another, and the world, and then the 5 core values. And so maybe you could speak to, because this seems to me to be more like the culture within that the nuts and bolts of how to live those things out. But maybe you could bring some clarity to how those work together.
Yeah, that's right. That's good. Those core values that we have at Koinonia don't change, haven't disappeared. They're still there. They're core to the kingdom. They're core to the kingdom of God. Mission, worship, servanthood, stewardship, and generations. And we're not replacing them. They're still there. And they guide us. They propel us to want to love God, one another, and the world. But we began to ask the question, so what does that look like when we walk that out? And that's where this fresh vision language came to us, that it's going to help us walk out those core kingdom values that are still a part of the house here at Koinonia. It was like we were asking, okay, God, you've given us the great commandments, love the Lord our God with all our heart, soul, and mind and strength, and to love our neighbor as ourselves. And you've given us the great commission, go and make disciples. But how do we do that? And that's where we began to talk about practical language. What does it look like then to go and make disciples as we love one another? And these words of show and share the love of Jesus, and having a culture that will help propel us into that. And then we said, so what is it? What are we doing again? Oh yeah, we're loving people and inspiring everybody to follow Jesus. And as we do that, we will fulfill the great commandments and the great commission. But we weren't settled yet. It was still like, okay, so this is why we exist, and this is the culture we have, and this is what we're to do, is to love people. And so then how will we know if we're actually doing that? And that's where we pressed into something called strategic anchors, something that we can anchor onto to know if we're being effective in walking out the vision that will fulfill the mission that God's called us to. And the 3 strategic anchors we narrowed down to were that we want to be about personally connecting, consistently discipling, and authentically caring for one another. In whatever we do, we want to make sure those 3 things are happening. Because if they are, then they're going to lead us to loving one another. They're going to lead us to showing people who Jesus is. And they're going to lead us to fulfilling the mission that God has given us that's core to his kingdom.
Like what you saw in this clip, you can catch the full conversation on our YouTube channel, or you can listen to it wherever you listen to podcasts. We'll see you in the next one.